So today, while Paul's working on the toilet, I've managed to manifest from the universe some Ahurikawa trees through Sandra, our niece, from Jenny, the lady she works with. I think I've got about 7 of them on these beautiful ferns, and I'm just taking a break because I've got 2 more to plant up the driveway, and it's hot work. And I'm just getting over the flu that I've had for a couple of weeks. So anyway, feeling pretty blessed at people just donating things to us.
And now I have cut up some timber for a retaining wall that's going to go around the composting bin. And this is very early stages of getting the retaining wall made that's going to go around the willy bin right up to the base of the container. And there'll be a couple of posts either side of that container as well to shore up the corner of the container. I have, however, currently got it stabilized there and around the back there as well. There we have it. Still a wee bit to do yet, but essentially this is how it's going to end up, all tidied up and what have you. There's a little bit of fixing. I haven't got my piles in yet, but just to give you the idea, it's nice and snug and underneath the container there. Obviously inside the container is our toilet. This hole in the container here is just going to work out perfectly for me to put a vent in. So across here I'm going to fill that and have a vent going up there, and that vent will go all the way up there, and we'll have a fan in it to draw any should there be any smell, because remember we've got a urine diverter. But yeah, still a fair bit of work to do, so we will get into that. What have we got planned for today? Well, these are all the tools that I'm going to need. There's various bits and pieces in here. Can you guess what I'm going to be doing? Let's have a look down here and see if you can get any more of an idea. That's a ball valve, 20mm ball valve. There's a filter washer, some poly washers, vice grip, or not vice grips, what are they called? Plumbing grips or something like that. Drill bits. What's this here? Shade cloth. What on earth am I doing? Well, what I'm doing is I'm going to convert this wheelie bin into a composting bin, which will sit underneath our toilet and collect all our waste, all our poo. It won't be collecting the wee. Remember, we've got a urine diverter. However, the bin needs a couple of things. So this black bin here is going to be cut down to size and put in the bottom here to raise it up a bit and leave a gap underneath. And that means if there is any fluids that get into here, they'll drain right through, and there'll be a tap in the bottom there, that ball valve tap that you saw over here. That's going to go right down the very bottom in here, and that's going to allow us to drain off any excess fluid that might get into the poo bin, the composting bin. So yeah, let's get into that. Okay, now I've got this bucket here. It's a planter actually, so that's so the water can get right through. I'm going to be drilling a few extra holes in there as well on the higher part there. But what I've got to do is convert this to fit down in the bottom of the wheelie bin, so that it creates that gap that I was talking about down the bottom there, so that any fluid can fall through there and out the outlet that I've got down the bottom there. So what we have here is the bucket that I just showed you, and I've cut it all up. Now the reason I've cut it this way is because I did it bit by bit to get down to the depth that I needed, because I didn't know exactly the depth that I was going to need for this piece here that I have made. So I slowly took bit by bit off, took a big chunk off there once I realized how far down I could get, and I've got down to about 120 mil from the base of this 42 centimeter pot plant thing, 33 litre it is. And I've put this cutout in it here because when it goes into the bin, down in there, you can see there's a bit of a riser down there. That's where my outlet hole is for any excess fluid that might get in to this area. And then this here is going to go down into there. So you can see it fits nicely down in there. I'm going to, as I said before, I'm going to drill some more holes in there and some holes on the sides as well. But essentially what's going to happen now is I'm going to put some filter cloth over there. That's that cloth that you saw before. It's actually shade cloth, but it's perfect for filtering fluid through. And I'm going to wrap that around this now and just use a couple of cable ties to keep it in place. And once that's all done, that's all ready to go. And there we have it. We've drilled all the holes. Looks like crop circles. Yeah, pretty asymmetric. No, not asymmetric. Symmetrical. Asymmetric is just one-sided, eh? And I've done some around the bottom as well, so that's going to sit in like that. However, I'm going to wrap it first with that shade cloth. Alright, there's me wheelie bin way over there, and this is what I've just made up. So I've put this weed matting all round and I've connected it with cable ties. I'm going to cut all those ends off, but this is really just to show you guys how I've fixed the netting or the weed mat to my strainer, I guess you'd call it. Again, it's to let any fluid go right through. So that's going to stop things like the pea straw or the straw at the bottom of the composting bin. It's going to stop it from falling through those holes and blocking up any holes and blocking up the tap in the bottom. So that's going to stop that from happening and allow the water to get through. Okay, and I've cut all those cable ties off. So let's put it in. And there you have it. Just straight in like that. Just center it up a bit. And then we put our pea straw in there, or straw, whatever you use at the bottom of your composting. You've got to put a layer in to start off with. Okay, so I'm not your conventional off-gridder, do everything, you know, go and chop down a tree and slice it up and get what you need that way, or go to a farm and grab a trailer load of straw. We've just gone to the local hardware store, Mitre 10, and we've picked up this bag of pea straw. Let me know in the comments what you think of pea straw at the bottom of your composting units. Could be any sort of composting, doesn't have to be a composting toilet. I'm just a learner. I've taken all of the stuff that you're watching now off things that I have watched over the years on YouTube, and I'm adapting them to suit what I want and think might work. However, reading up on the process for straw and different things and all the different combinations you can use, there is a lot. So give us your preferences in the comments below. So we're going to put the first layer of straw into the composting bin. So I think we're going to need a couple of these, but we'll check that out. I'll just make sure that's nice and covered. Oh, I might only need one, I think. Let's test that. Yep, just one. One big handful like that. Just cover that nicely. Yeah, so there we go. Pretty straightforward. And now that we've got the straw and the filters in the bottom and the tap, etc., you can see the tap there. I'm going to have a hose coming out of there, connecting on somehow. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll direct that hose that's going to come out of that tap there. That's going to be a easy on, easy off connection there, because obviously we're going to need more than one of these bins. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on, but the hose itself is going to come through here somewhere, maybe attached to the retaining wall, and then drop down into a ditch all the way around here, right down over to a soak pit down in here, and we'll have the hose zigzagging backwards and forwards. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of fluid that comes out of there. However, there may be some fluid that gets in there from, especially from cleaning the toilet. Obviously, like I say, we've got a urine separator, so it's not urine coming out of here, it's water that's come through and gone through the compost and come down. So it's still not going to be nice water. Yeah, so we need to dispose of that in some manner. I doubt there's going to be very much, and my pipe's going to be very long. Yeah, that's going to be very minimal and quite deep into the ground. Hey, I'll show you this though. We've got a toilet window. Not fully completed, but I'll take you inside and we'll have a look at that, eh? So after this composting toilet is completed, I'm going to start a deck. The deck's going to go across here from our back door. And there'll be a windscreen across here, fence, and a door in here. However, currently we're at this position here with our toilet, the new window, and I've drawn a line here, and that's my next task, is to cut the hole out in this hardwood. My poor old jigsaw is going to get a hard time doing that again, and then put the urine separator in that hole. So I'm going to route the edge so that it fits nice and flush with the timber. I've already got the toilet seat on because that's given me the positions of the holes and stuff like that, so that's already attached. And then I'm going to make it so that this whole lid can be removed for cleaning and stuff later on, because obviously we're going to want to get down and inspect that funnel barrel to make sure that's nice and clean. Wow, winter time on the west coast. I don't know, these guys have been keeping secrets from us, I think. It's beautiful weather, and because it's beautiful weather we have another tradie on site today, and this tradie is painting. She's a painter. There she is. Barb's doing a great job. That's the new colour. So I don't know if you can see that too well. Oh yeah, there you go. So there's the green, what's it called? Aged cedar. Apparently aged cedar goes green. Interesting. Haven't done that side yet, but
we've got Karaka windows, dark green windows.
Yeah, Karaka dark green windows, and aged cedar. There's a type of a green as well. I'd call it Doc Hut green. And what's going on over here? You'll saw a lot of tools and things there. Duke, as soon as I turn the camera on, he wants to get on the limelight and throw sticks. So there you go. And yeah, I am creating the toilet seat out of hardwood. That's Quilla, whatever you like to call it. And this is where the urine separator is going to sit, into that position there. Just got a wee bit more trimming to do, and then I will fit it into place above the composting unit. Well, I'm just going to quickly show you what I've been up to today. Whoa, wait, hold up a minute here. I'm just reviewing the video as I'm editing it, and Barbara did not tell me that I had soot or something all over my face. What happened today was the generator did a big backfire or something like that, and I had to work on it to see what's going on, I suppose. And lo and behold, as I'm editing this video, I find out that my face is filthy. But anyway, you're just going to have to put up with that, aren't you? It's in the toilet. We've been doing all sorts of things, along with Barbara painting the house, and what else was I doing? Man, it's been a big day. Doing the plumbing underneath the toilet as well. I'll take you around and show you that. And also our generator broke down, so everything came to a screaming halt. Anyway, let's have a look at this. There's the makings of the toilet. We're just going to do the face there now. And I may shape that top board yet, but I've run out of power, so I'm just going to take 25mm off to that point there, shape it around and take 25mm off to that point there. But there's the flash toilet there, the urine separator, the hole down into the dark abyss. Now I'll take you in. You can see the wheelie bin down there now. Take you in and under. Upside down here, that's the urine separator pipe going down to a T-junction there, because coming in From one side is going to be the sink, which we're going to install that sink up here so you can wash your hands, and that's going to join together, and then it runs all down to this point here. I'll put you under here and show you this. There's the U-bend, and we've got to that far so far, and then that's going to come along here, cross over here, and connect up to this pipe here, which is the overflow pipe from the water tank. And as I've explained in the previous video, it's going to shoot along down there to the grey water filtration area. I just want to finalise the composting toilet system, so that because there's probably a lot of questions that you guys have got. So I want to I've made some notes. How about that? That's organised, isn't it? So I want to run through some points about the composting toilet, why we chose to go composting, etc. Composting versus septic versus council sewage, I guess, would be the main things we're going to think about here. Did you know when you flush your toilet, the average family uses about 60,000 litres per annum of fresh water to flush their toilet? And that goes down the drain, and we're talking council system here, down the drain into their sewage system, and well, who knows where. There's some controversial discussion about the sewage system in Queenstown at the moment. There's been major overloading with the influx of new builds and new families coming to Queenstown, population increase, and overloading the sewage. So one, you're relying on the council or your local council to be reliable and do things efficiently and properly, or properly for that sort of system, because there could be major troubles with overloading. Septic also uses water. You still flush a septic toilet, and that's still using 60,000 litres of, or thereabouts, of water per annum. And then you still have ongoing servicing costs there with, I don't know how long, depends on the size of your system, but maybe every 5 years you need to get a truck in to suck out the septic tank, unless you've got a leach field, which is a better way of doing it, but again, you're still using water. So we chose compost, not just because we're saving water. It's not because, we're on the west coast. We could have bought a 40,000 litre tank. We chose to buy a 5,000 litre tank because we want to be conscious of our usage of water and power from solar, etc., like that. So that's just something we chose because we decided when we're up here on the west coast in nature, we want to be a little bit more conscious of, and not just here, but we want to be more conscious of our usage going forward. Also, composting has a full cycle of life, i.e. you eat food, you poo the food, you compost the poo, that turns into dirt, just normal old dirt, and you can then use that dirt to plant plants, put it around fruit trees, etc., and help them to grow stronger and better. Alright, back to the wheelie bin scenario that we've used. Systems that you can buy just straight off the internet or straight out of a manufacturer. I looked up one that's comparable to the wheelie bin one that we've just made, and if you have a look at online at Natureloo, if you look up Natureloo on the internet, if you're considering composting, the cheapest model of a comparable system going through Natureloo is $2,206 plus GST, and then you've got all the add-ons. You've got fan options and vent stack options and additional bins and all that sort of stuff. So the basic unit, $2,200 plus GST. Breakdown of our costs. we came in under $1,000. That's including the fact that, and this is one of the questions I thought you might be asking, we aren't just going to have one wheelie bin. We're going to have, well, we've done a calculation. Initially when we came here, we were using one of those 20-litre portaloos that you have in camper van, and we ended up having to empty that once a week. So 20 litres once a week, that's flushing water into it as well, and urine going into it as well. So poo, water and urine in a 20-litre container 1 week. So we've used that calculation to work out how long roughly we're going to get out of one 120-litre wheelie bin with no urine going into it and only cleaning water going into it. And we reckon, after working all that out, we're going to get an estimate of 14 weeks per wheelie bin. So that's 3.5 months. Now, the composting process, because once we've filled a wheelie bin, we're going to close that lid, lock it down, and wait around about 8 months, 7 to 9 months. So I'm hoping 8 months, because that comes into our calculation of how many bins we need as well. If we were just to pull them all out and leave them there, we'd need 4 wheelie bins. But after 8 months, one of them's going to be emptied because we'll use that compost, and we'll get that bin back into the cycle, and therefore we won't need 4 bins, we'll only need 3. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But if you've got any other questions, comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Ask some questions, and we'll see what sort of conversation we can have about it and what we can come up with. Hey, thanks for watching, by the way.
Wow, we've got the fire roaring tonight, and that is because we are going to make toasty pies on the fire with this little device here. Yes. The old toasty pie maker. Stick your bread and your, what are you going to put in there? Eggs, spaghetti, bits and pieces. Come on. And plonk that on the fire once it's burned down a bit. And cook your dinner. There's our toasty pie maker in the fire. And the nice hot embers down there. The interesting part of it is it's been so long since we've done this. I've got no idea how long to leave it on there. I'll show you the results shortly.
Right, well, looks pretty good, eh? However, for the first attempt, I may have left it too long on one side. We'll see. Oh well, we'll get it right next time.